Yesterday we had a springtime festival hosted by my grandmother's school. It was a small thing, with only about 100 people showing up, but this was a concentrated mess of eps, an amalgamation of all the 7 deadly sins: lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, and pride. And today I'll share stories of all these happening in the span of 8 hours. But first, more backstory. The event was a small fundraiser for the school, as well as a competition for pot chicas. So many of the school's students came along with families and family friends, and most of us were in a pretty great mood. I was stationed at the games area managing 2 different games, namely pop a balloon and ring toss, most of the time just making sure kids played fair and got the prizes they deserved. One other thing to note is that since there was a competition for the pot chicas, people who wanted to vote for the best tasting dish had to buy a single-use meal ticket to get a serving of food, vote, and stand a chance to win a prize raffle at the end of the event. Names will be standard as always: entitled parent ep, magnificent and ignominy. Now, on to the 7 deadly sins. Lust. This one, in my opinion, was one of the worst, considering the event was held at a school with kids around. Ep decided her and her partner needed some alone time and thought that my games tent would be the best place to do exactly that, as it had a closing zip flap. Approaching me with her lover, the following conversation happened. Ep: "Hey there, I was wondering if you could help us out." Me: "Sure thing. What do you two need?" Ep: "Well, our kids are having a ball and well, hubby and I didn't have time for each other for a long time, and we were hoping you'd tell the kids you're closed so we can use your tent." Me: "You want me to tell kids that the all-day games booth is closed because some adults want to F?" Ep: "It sounds bad when you say it like that. Just tell them we want to cuddle for a while. I'll make it worth your while." At this, she reached into the man's pocket, pulling out a crumpling $10 bill, something that here is basically enough to buy a soda. Me: "Yeah, no, I think you'll have more luck trying the bathrooms, and if you keep asking me to do anything, I'll call a teacher to escort you out." Ep: "You are such a brat, you know. People like you are why romance is dying." Me: "If you think effing in a tent in public is romantic, I'm glad I killed that." Ep turned and walked away with a huff, strangely enough the guy looking at me with a very sad help me expression. #GLUTTONY. Once it was about 1 in the afternoon, an announcement was made that the games and entertainment would be temporarily closed to allow everyone to head over to the food stalls of the festival and get some food. Everyone seemed to be in good spirits and the smells were really great, and this attracted people from across the street to attend the festivals as well, everyone taking their portions of food from the chefs they deemed looked like first prize material. And as always, Ep had to make sure he got everything, even if that meant nobody got anything. He was a heavy-set man thundering his way past other people, and I'm pretty sure his gut knocked a kid over in the process. He brought his own plate, and it was more akin to a cake pan than a plate. Heaping up a large portion of rice, as well as macaroni and 5 pieces of cornbread, he helped himself to massive helpings of around 5 people's cooking, most of them in pure shock as the food kept getting piled higher and higher. At one cooking station I stood behind him and saw the stew levels drop by about an inch while he served himself. The entitled part of this story: he never even finished his plate. #GRED. Back to the gaming booth, we have a wonderful example of a cookie monster we'll call Satan Spawn the First. SS1 for reference. SS1 was a typical bratty kid, trying to cut in line and trying his best to cheat without getting caught. Typical of a 8-year-old, you say, but SS1 is special. SS1 was in 9th grade, 15 years old. Every time he cut in line, I ignored him until I reached the kid he cold gotten behind. Then just maybe I'd take his tickets and he can play. It wasn't long until SS1 was banned from playing Pop a Ballon as he tried to throw me with a dart while I was setting up the balloons, commanding me to go faster. In ring toss he wasn't far away from a ban due to his major lack in listening to the rules, standing with his whole body across the throwing line while leaving his one foot in there and claiming he still was behind the line. I didn't care as SS1 couldn't throw for crap, no matter how much he cheated. The last time, however, as he was waiting his turn, outside the line of course, one of the smaller kids managed to pop 5 balloons consecutively, winning himself the best prize, a Nerf Elite Infinus. Gun https www.bigwa.com. or product Nerf and Strike Elite Infinis Motorized Speed Load Blaster 694,355. Sponsored by a toy store, as the school was a long-time advertiser of the store. SS1 threw a fit, basically screeching as he tore the gun from the small kid, maybe about 8 years old that time, and started running away. Thankfully one of the older kids managed to trip him, and we got the gun back, calling his parents, to which the following occurred. Ep. Why is my son crying? What did you do to him? I explained the situation to her and told her that due to his behavior he was not allowed near the games booth again. Ep. But if he really wanted that toy, why didn't you give it to him? Me. Miss, another kid has already won it fair and square. If your son wanted it so badly, he should have played better at the games. Ep. Well, why don't you give my son that gun and the other kid could have this / she points to an RC car in the second last prize pool, kneeling down to the kid to try and convince him he wants the car instead. He wasn't taking the bait. Ep got upset and tried to threaten to get the boy into trouble with his parents, and he just darts out of her clutches into the crowd. Ep. That boy stole your gun. Are you not gonna call someone to get it from him? Pointing to me / me. No, because he won it as I said. Ep look at me in disgust and walks away with a bawling 15-year-old boy. Sloth. This one is not as bad, but still really trashy in my opinion. One of the contestants for the competition would constantly be sitting on a chair, drinking beers while either his son or his wife tends to the food, with him barking out orders. And whenever someone said something about his food, complimenting it, he was quick to say that it all came from a good amount of hard work. Yeah, right. Roth. Not much that I can say for this one. One entitled parent thought that they were Gordon Ramsay and insulted everyone else's food, hollering at customers when they didn't take food from him and threatening to punch me when I made a comment of him being crazy. Envy. This one ties into the story of greed, as SS1 makes a return appearance along with another stellar cast member, Satan Spawn II. SS2. Since SS1 was banned from the games booth following his Nerf meltdown, he resorted to using his little brother to get his new sought after prize, Nerf Elite Fire Strike. https www.argus.co.uk product 9,115,776. Pistol. The only kink in his plan was his brother didn't fare any better, and he soon called his mom again to mediate a deal. Ep. How much for that toy gun? Me. 5 points with the balloon pop and 3 rings tossed on the center pole. But your son won't be winning it as he isn't allowed to play anymore. Ep. No, I mean how much can I buy it for with cash? Me. I think about $10,000 might do the trick. This was purposefully an exaggeration as the guns cost about $400 here. Ep. What? You can't be serious. What else do you want for that gun? Me. 5 points at the balloons. 3 rings on the center pole. Ep. But you said my son can't play. Me. I'm sorry, miss. He should have thought about what he did before he tried stealing another kid's prize. After this tirade, Ep and both SS's walked a short distance away as all of them glared at the kid slowly but surely pecking away at the larger prizes, their faces becoming soured by every win. It was satisfying to say the least. I even gave them a little wave when a large prize is won. Pride. The sin of pride reared its ugly head at the end of the day following the raffle and the final calls for the winner. The raffle going smoothly, and afterwards came the competition conclusion. Fourth, third, and second came and went, the announcer keeping a light-hearted atmosphere as he joked with the contestants, giving them their prize, and thanking them for their effort. Ep from Roth then assumed he would naturally be first, as of course Gordon Ramsay makes the best food, and took the mic from the announcer and thanking everyone for their votes, saying how glad he is to win. After a couple of minutes of stunned silence, the Ep turned to face the announcer to ask if he did in fact win. The announcer shook his head, and to this Ep's amazement, another person in fact had won. With a loud F, he tossed the mic on the ground and stormed off, pissed at the world. A fun day overall, save for the sins. For each Ep there were 10 other parents who appreciated the work we were doing, and I've even gotten tips from some of them. Okay, first off, my aunt is a real beach. She uses our family for her game. and gives zero fs about anyone but herself and her image and her friends. She will only talk to us if we have something that she wants. She lives in one of the most expensive parts of Sacramento, while our immediately family all lives and has lived in the same area nearly my mom and aunt's entire lives. She's very entitled and thinks highly of herself. She and her husband and children are the type of people who are always keeping up with the Joneses. She has to be admired and loved from strangers. She scams money out of whoever she can, especially my grandma, which is how she's able to live in such a expensive area and claim packages and not work, or shell work and immediately quit if someone doesn't like her, smoke weed and hang out all day, while her husband gets drunk and acts like a dick. With that out the way, let me tell you what happened Friday afternoon. I'm the semi-black sheep of my family. I'm not mean. I'm not rude. I don't talk crap, nor do I socialize much with my family, because I know they don't really like having me around. So no one ever calls or talks about me in regards of how I am or what I'm doing, which is usually nothing. So I was surprised to get a phone call from my aunt the entitled. See, I didn't know the number, didn't know at the time how she got my number, but I was waiting on a call from my doctor, so I answered without a second thought. So, I answer, hoping it's my doctor, but I hear my aunt's voice. She and I have never been close. I don't like her. I don't think I've ever liked her. I burned myself as a child because she wouldn't let me have a bath since she was entertaining her friends and getting high, so I went and made myself a bath and burned most of the skin on my legs, thighs and butt off. That's how much I hated her. And her daughter would steal my dolls, toys, whatever she could get her hands on, and she never gave them back, nor would anyone believe me when it'd find my stuff destroyed at their house. Anyway, I answered, and I'm extremely confused when I hear the C's voice. She tries to sound all sweet and nice. Hi, how ya doing? Grandma says you're sick. Yeah, I am. I absolutely hate talking, especially to a C on the phone. Okay, she's quiet before she gets to the point as to why she's calling me, the one niece she hasn't or couldn't steal or come from. Well, you still work at Party Town, right? My grandson needs a costume for Halloween. I want a discount, or you can sneak one out for me. I kinda just sat there thinking, is this bitch serious? Did she really just say that? Did she ask me for something I cannot do, even if I wanted to, without asking nicely with a please? And did she not know what day it was? The store would be packed to hell with parents who couldn't make more time to get a Halloween costume 6 days before Halloween. What? Are you high? I don't work there. I worked there 4 years ago for like 2 months. Who said I worked there? And why would you think it'd give you a discount or steal for you of all people? I was annoyed to hell and back by being told what someone tells me what I'm going to do. And it's a week before Halloween. There's no costumes left. My aunt let out this weird sound and starts saying something like, don't be selfish. Your thieving cousin needs a costume for her son. He's only 3 years old. Are you really going to be a bitch and not get him a costume? After her little rage, all I can do is just laugh. I had taken some pain meds for my knee, so I'm like kinda loopy and tired and thinking I'm dreaming, and all I do is laugh. I could hear my sticky fingered cousin chime in calling me a selfish bitch and how she's going to get me fired for stealing. Somehow, they came up with the idea that I steal costumes for my teenage nephews at a job I don't work at because my grandma told them I worked there once 4 years ago during Halloween. She and my cousin are still yelling at me on the phone until I stop laughing. My eyes are closed and I'm on the edge of sleep, and I tell them I don't work there. I haven't worked there in 4 years. I was working with my mom until 2 years ago. You stupid bitches. Got 'em. You guys can't stop coming up with scams and schemes long enough to get facts straight before you call and harass people. You don't listen to grandma tell you about us when you come down asking for money. F off, you ingrates. That's all I remember before I passed out. I woke up Saturday morning with a stiff leg and missed calls and texts from my grandma and aunt. My grandma was apologizing and said she set my aunt straight. But, an hour later, my aunt calls and says, you can get grandma to lie for you, but I know you're a selfish bitch like your mom, and won't even help out family. I just listened to her, tired as F, trying to stretch my leg and let her go on. I'm going to be in later today for my grandson's costume, and it better be half off or free. Yeah, I would love to see that. But even if I could stand to walk or be in public, I don't care enough to watch her humiliate herself or try and belittle seasonal employees. And the beach didn't even tell me what costume she was looking for anyway. If I worked there, was I just supposed to grab any toddler costume for her punk ass? I feel bad for the kid, but my aunt is such a fine bitch and she's hurt my grandma too much for me to even consider helping her or my cousins. Thank you for watching. Slap that like button and comment your opinion on these stories below. I'm waiting. Write that comment. Seriously. Have you written it yet? If you don't comment, you make a bunny cry somewhere. You're not that kind of person, I know. Anyways, peace out, and catch you tomorrow.